We're with Guy Rosenberg here, head coach of Elkhorn South. Coach, well, first of all, break down your season. I know you guys played a very difficult schedule, but you were still one of the better teams in Class A.
Right. I was real proud of our players' investment in the off-season, in-season. Again, just a real team-first group. And proud that I guess that each of the last 2 years we've been the only Class A team to go on the road in the first round of the playoffs and win a playoff game. And so I think that's a real testament to the mental toughness of our players, and we've gotten knocked out in the next round each of these last 2 years. So we've still got a lot more of the mountain to climb, but I really feel that our players have established a good base camp for us, and we're within striking range of our goals.
Yeah, and as you establish your team into Class A, I think this will be the third year or fourth year?
This will be third year.
Third year now. I mean, how much more built are you when you look at guys like Isaac and Teddy going into their senior year? You've got at least the size to really do well in the Class A ranks.
Right. Well, we definitely have some veterans, particularly up front. That with Teddy, he's started every game at left tackle since the first game of his sophomore year. Cooper Taylor got banged up right at the end of the season last year, but at right tackle, he'd started every game there since the first game of his sophomore year. Isaac Zadiska has been to battle for a couple of years now, and all those guys are just a year bigger, year faster, year stronger. And again, you can't put a price on experience. So they're out there, they're used to working together. And George Drennan Sr., our offensive line coach, does an outstanding job with those guys. And I'm really excited to see them put all their hard work out on underneath the lights on Friday nights this fall.
Yeah, let's talk about Teddy. I mean, he's had so much come to him in the last year, but obviously he remains very humble. He's got the drive, and you just don't see that combination very often when you see a guy that's already accomplished what Teddy's been able to accomplish.
Right. I mean, he's handled things so well. Everything happens so quickly, and he's been humble and team first throughout the whole process. And again, continually wanting to improve. He's never been satisfied. It's never been about him. And I think the thing is, it seems like a lot of times you got a guy that's a big guy, but he's not flexible. He's not athletic. Well, Teddy's got that. He's an athlete, a big athlete who can move and redirect, or you might have a kid, big, huge kid, but he's not really very physical, and you have to poke him and prod him to get him to be physical. That's never been a problem with Teddy. He's a finisher. And then you get some of those guys that they've got both those things, but they don't really love the game. And Teddy, that final piece of the puzzle, I think, is just how much he loves the game. He loves practicing. He's the same guy every day out there at practice and working hard and bringing energy. And I think that when you have an outstanding player like that, that would have every reason to maybe to rest on his laurels some, and he doesn't, that inspires his teammates. So couldn't be prouder of Teddy in the way that he's conducted himself.
And he's obviously solidly committed to Nebraska, but if he would have kept things open until, say, now, I mean, did you get the sense that everybody in the country was going to be coming to Elkhorn South here in December and January?
Oh, well, I mean, it gets back to that. It wasn't about him. He wanted to make sure that he measured twice and cut once and found the right program for him. And it wasn't about racking up offers and racking up attention. He just wanted to do right by himself and his team and his family, and also too didn't want to lead on schools if he wasn't legitimately interested in going there. But even just in the short term, last spring we had, of course, Michigan, Northwestern, Iowa State, Minnesota, teams like that coming through, and pretty much every team that came through offered on the spot. And I think that's usually it's more of a wait and see game. In Teddy's case, they'd seen everything that they needed to see on film prior to that, and so that things happened quickly there. And a lot of the coaches that came through said, hey, I travel all around the country talking to big physical football guys, and I don't know if I've come across a guy bigger than Teddy during the travels. And for him, again, what really sets him apart is just the the flexibility, ability to pull, the ability to run and redirect. And I think it's great too that I'm excited. He's a basketball player. He's a multi-sport guy. Isaac Zadiska plays lacrosse. We got guys that are multi-sport athletes, and I think that really helps out with their upside too, and getting a chance to learn to compete year-round as well.
Yeah, let's move on to Isaac. Obviously, another guy that's going to be a 3-year starter for you, plays the center position, has kind of progressed in his weight. What are you hearing right now from teams on him? Because I know a lot of people seem to be very interested. He's just still waiting for that first offer.
Right, that there's been a ton of interest, a lot of teams through that they all want to talk to Isaac, and I think things will probably move very quickly for him too, in terms of not necessarily his decision, but just in terms of I think that there's going to be a lot of offers that start to come his way as the spring and the summer progresses. And he's been down to visit Kansas State, over to visit Iowa, going to visit Northern Illinois, course, Nebraska's very interested in him. And so he's a guy, too, that does everything the right way. And his outstanding student was named All-Metro, first team All-Metro academic in terms of that combination of athleticism and academics. And so that really speaks to his dedication, too. And again, we're a shotgun team. We're in the shotgun the whole time. And we run a lot of jet read, jet sweep, faking the jet. So having a great, precise snap in the right place at the right time is essential, and he's the best we've ever had at that. He's probably about 6'4", 260, great feet, can move, and being able to get a lot more physical, moving people out up front. And also, too, for us, that the center is very essential in terms of having to know the game, being able to set protections, being able to make adjustments in running schemes, and be a leader. And that's something that Isaac excels at, too. Yeah,
as you look at like other centers across Class A, there can't be too many guys like him with his size and the full package that you just mentioned.
Right. Well, we're not trading him for anybody. We'll take him against anybody, and just very proud of the way that he's progressed. And again, he hasn't been satisfied with his development and is always looking to get better.
Now, Makai is another guy we talked to, and man, very impressive. Test off the charts. He said he had 10 sacks last year for you guys. What does he bring to the table?
Well, he's just an explosive athlete, and I think people are always looking for guys to rush the passer. I mean, that's one of the most valuable spots on the field. And last year was really the first time that he played extensively on defense for us. But he's got length, got real strong lower half, plays with his hands well, and just has some real innate pass rushing ability. That closing speed, and also too when he arrives, definitely arrives with violent intentions. And going through, if you check out his highlights, there's a lot of ones where he not only arrives and gets the sack, but the ball gets knocked loose. And so he's a very disruptive force on defense, and also extremely versatile player on offense for us. That primarily, he came up as a quarterback. That I was talking to some of the college coaches that came through and watched some of his film and said, well, hey, he's kind of a wildcat quarterback. I said, no, he's not a wildcat quarterback. He's a quarterback. So he's a guy that he can run and throw, make great decisions. He was the backup to Elliott Brown last year, who's walking on down at Nebraska and switching to receiver. But
so he'll be your quarterback this fall?
Well, he's going to be in competition for the job. We've got Dylan Krause, who's also going to be a senior. That's going to be in competition for the job. And we have a couple of younger players, too. They're also in competition. But with Makai, he was a guy that we wanted to get him on the field, and he was there at outside linebacker and was a destructive force there, and also did a great job running the ball as a running back, catching the ball out of the backfield and deployed as a receiver. So he's one of those guys that when he's around the football, that good things happen. And so we looked for as many ways as we could do to get him out there last year.
And I know you brought a number of other guys down for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just speak on the core of kids you bring back overall that you brought down besides the three we just
excellent leaders, kids that a lot of them have been out there extensively since their sophomore year, getting a chance to play varsity football and earning their stripes there. And Carter Richardson, an excellent two-way lineman for us there, O-line, D-line, and just big 250-pound athletic kid who can really move and redirect and loves the game. I think also, too, Trevor Winterstein is a corner and a slot receiver, and a guy that can really go up and high point it, and made a lot of interceptions on defense, can carry the ball as a slot receiver, and also just catch the ball deployed as a wide receiver. Guy Hunt, also a slot receiver, safety, extremely high football IQ, another one of those multi-sport guys. He's also a diver and extremely elusive in the open field, real high football IQ, and understands the game. Bo Weisler, real just physical player there as far as that linebacker. And he's a guy that's definitely got confidence. We were giving him a hard time the other day, a couple years ago when Moses Bryant graduated, and I always had been number 7, and we wondered who's going to be the kid that's going to want to wear number 7 the next year. And so Bo's a kid who's got a lot of confidence in himself, and rightly so. And so he's number 7, and he's definitely worn that jersey and done a lot of damage in it. And he's a guy that we repped a pretty good amount on offense last year as a running back. Didn't get a chance to use him, but he's a guy that really is a violent, angry runner, carrying the ball, and versatile athlete. So he might be a guy that plays more of a role on the offensive side of the ball, too. But he'll definitely be one of our leaders as a run and hit guy at linebacker on defense.
All right. Anything else, guys? We're good.
Let me just check to see if there's any of those other guys here just real quick here. Let's see. So we got Teddy, Isaac, Makai. We got Bo, Cooper, Taylor, Carter. Tell you what, maybe I'll just mention a quick thing on Dom Hooker and Zach Mishner, if that's all right with you guys.
I'll reframe the question then here and just
okay.
take
Yeah,
it there.
yeah.
And Coach, obviously, anybody else you wanted to add to that group of kids?
Yeah, that Dom Hooker's been a player for us that's been a real key contributor on defense for the last 2 years as a starter at corner. Just very physical, aggressive player, also an outstanding special teams player, and he's one of those guys that has got everybody's back, the type of guy that you want going into a dark alley. You want Dom at your side there because you know that he's going to take care of his team. Zach Mishner is another guy I wanted to put on people's radar that last year was his first year with us, moved here from Oregon, and he got hurt about halfway through the season, but he's kind of unlike, real fortunately, he's a big outside receiver, an outside the numbers receiver that's got height and length and athleticism, a high point receiver, and he did a great job for us, was a starter last year until he got hurt in the regular season there against Bellevue West, but he's had an outstanding offseason, and he's one of those guys I think that's underneath the radar, but again, people are always looking for big corners, they're looking for big receivers too, and I think he really fits that bill as being a physical, athletic outside receiver who can really go and high point the ball.